So this is no more an option. This is a necessity. So whether it is automation, whether it is ESG, whether it is looking into how to prosper as far as creating a culture is concerned, is extremely important in these organizations or whatever organizations are coming up. Make more people tech savvy, which will help. Today, if I take an example, GST return, you have to take a credit only on the invoice. And now if there are lakhs and lakhs of invoices which are there, how do you do ensure that the correctness is there? Automation helps you in that process. If there are 15 people who are working for me in a particular organization, they are not more than 2 people who are working at this point of time and giving me better productivity.
So how does a CFO look at HR heads? Saikat, I also have seen that many companies, CFOs are always there in board meetings, but not all CHROs are there. Eh? So good morning, audience. It's an amazing experience for me to be hosting the second, I'll say, chartered accountant in this series of heart-to-heart conversations, the second chief financial officer. I recall a few months ago, I had Amit Agrawal, who is managing director and CFO in Dubai. And then today we have got another very experienced CFO, chief financial officer, who has worked in some of the best known organizations across in the country. So, of course, I'm going to talk a bit about Saikat. So today's guest is Mr. Saikat Mukhopadhyay, and he has been, of course, he has taught some of these lessons to me. So he has inspired me as well without knowing that actually he did so. So there are certain moments, Sakat, because first of all, I always thank people who join me as a guest because they are the people who are actually sowing a little seed, which will become a tree of inspiring, a tree to inspire many people because it's all going to happen here. And Sakat, today for the first time, I think, I don't know why I couldn't recollect earlier that we all, both of us have got one common factor. Of course, we have got multiple common factors, including Tatas, including Accelerate. But to begin with, we both spent our childhood days at two places in the state of Jharkhand, and both the places are
Yes.
hardly 90 minutes drive. Even on
Right.
those days, road conditions, of course, now the roads are getting better. So Sakat is from Bokaro Steel City, and I am from Sindri, which is small town in Dhanbad district. Both the places are pretty close by. And audience, this is not the only dot which we are going to connect. We are going to connect a lot of dots, and I'm talking to you. We are going to connect a lot of dots together while having this conversation because we are going to see that we all have got lives, learnings, experiences which are going to get connected with some of these secrets, so-called secrets of transformation. Though the fact here is that the secrets are all around us. It's just that people do not get to see some of these things. Thank you so much, Saket, once again for joining as the guest
Thanks,
and
Arun.
audience. Thank you so much. Audience, let me talk a bit about Saket. Saket begins his journey, corporate journey, professional journey in 1996 when he joins Tata Steel, where he worked for 11 years. And that's the time when we both had been in XLRI for one full year. We were in the campus, and I recall in those times because I made a mention of Saket having inspired me. So let me talk a bit about that before I complete the journey of Saket, professional journey of Saket. So we were in XLRI and we had another batch of people, very young guys. I think they were younger than us and they had recently been, they must have been taught about assessment and development center. So they wanted
Right.
to, be looking for some guinea pigs. And they found that there are some senior looking people. Let's go and apply all the knowledge on these people. So they had one assessment center in XLRI. I recall Sakat was in the same batch. In our batch, we also had Rajiv Padhyay. I was
Yeah.
the first to speak. Sakat was the second to speak. Rajiv was the third to speak. Rajiv is Managing Director Plus. He is the President of India and Asia Pacific region. Sakat is a veteran Chief Financial Officer in many multinationals, and I am I. And the silent message here is that, and of course, we're talking about 20 more than 20 years ago. We all have learned in our journey that listen first, speak later. So, but there are many things which I have learned from Sakat. He has been one of the most intelligent people because I knew in that 5 minute of that group exercise, which we became a part of that. I'm in the company of some very inspiring people, and of course, I think it was half a day assessment come development center. That was a little thing. So, audience, we all have got a lot of dots which are going to connect, and this is just one example. So Saikat was in Tata Steel for 11 years and then he joined as Vice President of Strategy in Quipo Infrastructural Equipment Limited. But looks like finance has been his calling. Finance again pulled him back. to another company called Kiern Oil and Gas, where he worked for close to 5 years in Gurugram. And that's how I think he moved to Gurugram, I guess. And then Saikat was the chief financial officer in construction equipment vertical of Escorts Limited, which is one of the best known companies in the country, in Faridabad. And then Saikat joined a company called CNH Industrial, where he was the group financial controller. And then Saikat became the CFO of Somani Ceramics Limited, of course, the same company which you see on television in some of the advertisements, where he worked for almost close to 5 years again. And then Saikat became the CFO of HIL Limited, Hyderabad Industries Limited. And then Saikat has been to the it's a great news for many small, medium, and large organizations. SACAP has been independent financial consultant and a virtual CFO. What it means is that there are so many companies. It's the days of Make in India, Make in Bharat, right? Make in Bharat campaign. So many
Yeah.
companies which can't otherwise afford an experienced CFO. And of course, a CFO has got in-depth experience in the field of change management, strategy, and all these important areas. Now, through this idea, I think today's times are the great times, greatest of times when many companies can avail the benefits and services of people like Saket. Saket, welcome. And Saket, while having this beautiful, amazing journey, of course, this journey, professional journey must have been full of lot of learnings, excitement, some very happy news, because that's the way life and career is. Did at any point of time it occurred to you that someday you are going to become the guest in Arun's Heart to Heart Conversation series?
This was indeed a fortune for me. I had never imagined that I will one day be on your show. And it's a great privilege and an honor to be on your show where so many luminaries have been participating in your talks. And meeting you virtually, I would have loved to meet you in person. But this is great platform where
Saket, so in case Kapil Sharma happens to watch, may not be today, maybe after 10 years, this is his copyright which I'm checking without asking. So Saket, great. I went through your LinkedIn profile. I could make out very clearly that here is a person who means work, who means business. And I could just see a few posts which are very insightful posts. I've got some of the pictures of some of the posts which I could see on your page, on your profile page. Let me, move on to one of the pictures which I saw. And I think this is one of the pictures along with which you have put up some very nice thoughts.
Right,
You have made a
right.
post. So, Sakat, we are talking about change management. And before we come to this, when you look back on your life and journey, Sakat, which are those initial thoughts which come to your mind? It's a long and beautiful journey, almost 27, 28 years. And starting from Bokaro Steel City, your
Right,
childhood. Of course, we'll certainly talk about that as well. So, which are those initial
right.
thoughts which come to your mind when you look back on your journey? It's an amazing journey. Once again, thank you so much for joining. Over to you. Yeah.
Arun, thanks for this opportunity to be on this your show. It's a great one. It has a great amount of reach to many young aspiring people who are looking for a career. When I started some 28 years and even earlier than that, never thought that this is where I would come to. So you are your own limitation as far as what you can think and what you can achieve. So starting, as you rightly said, right from Bokaro and sitting here in Gurugram, having worked in various multinational and promoter-owned organization, mostly listed companies,
Yeah.
it is a great satisfaction that I look back having touched so many people's life, having been able to create value for the organizations that I have been working. It is a great satisfaction where you see the people that you develop come up with results which you never expected that it
Yeah.
would come. So I think it gives a great amount of success and also creates hunger for future also that if you have achieved this far, thus far, and still, I will say we have about 20 more years to go as far as working is concerned. Creating
Yeah.
value, inspiring people. I think we are still very young as far as our professional journey is concerned. So
Yeah.
I am seeing a road long ahead at this point of time. So there is no plan to hang your boots at this point of time.
Awesome, Sagar, awesome. Because now Sagar has spoken about something which is very close to my heart because I've been in this field of transformation. I work with some CXOs and CEOs on books, on coaching, and of course on other aspects of conducting some programs. I always tell people that books, for example, if we just take one example, when people write books, they start reflecting back. And as they start reflecting back, they start rediscovering a newer version of themselves, because there are many experiences which you have gone through, which audience you all are going through on every day. Every day, just that we are not able to connect. We keep on forgetting some of these things, and then we keep on getting busy in life the way it happens. But once people start rediscovering themselves, they start finding some of the purpose, some of these, strengths and talents which they had. And then people start building a new avenue for them to stay engaged gainfully till the age of 75, 80 years. And of course,
Absolutely.
so this amazing thing which you said is that actually this is a beginning of a new chapter,
Yeah,
and every subsequent chapter is going to be much more enticing, much more insightful than the chapter which you already have gone through. I think this is what I can say based on my personal
absolutely.
and professional experience. Amazingly said, Sakat. Absolutely great. And Sakat, I'm pretty sure that you have had a journey which I think many CFOs do not have, and that is because we are talking to somebody, we are listening to somebody who has worked in Tata Steel, who has worked in Indian multinationals, who has worked in foreign multinationals, and who must be working with many promoter-driven companies. And of course, he has worked
Right.
with promoter-driven companies. I think that's an amazing way of living a corporate life, because then you actually get to know the different colors of this world. Because what works in one culture may not work in different culture. What works in Tatas may not work in different companies. I think what I've seen is that that is the best way for us to become one of the best listeners, one of the best observers, one of the most humble people, and one of the best people when it comes to grasping things. Because then we know that it's a different world, and it's important for us to know the culture before we implement some of these things. So, would you like to talk a bit about changes while working with people from different cultures? How has been this journey? Because this is something which I'm pretty sure is going to be very useful for many people who might have decided to be in one company, one culture. Nothing wrong with that. But we are going to listen to somebody who has actually seen different sides of the world. And that's, I think, one of the ways to live a
So,
wholesome life.
Arun, one of the key things as you embark on your career, it's very important that what's the brand value that you are promoting to the organization or the organizations that you work for. Because whether you work for one company or multiple companies, there is the inherent strength of the product, which is you, the brand that you are promoting as far as the organization is concerned. Let me delve deeper into this. One of the things that you are looking at from a success perspective, and success will come to you, but the success you see as far as the organization where you are adding value for. So, irrespective of whether you are working for MNC or Indian promoter companies, the and for Indian promoter companies, the speed is very fast as far as execution is concerned. So when you talk about value, when you talk about creating that change, whether you call it transformation or the change management that I see behind you, it
Yeah.
is your thought process as far as how the organization you are working for, you would be able to add value as far as top line, bottom line, culture, transparency, trust, all of those words that you think about. Because
Yeah.
organization is not about you or the promoter that you are working for. Organization is so many people put together. And
Yeah.
so many people, if they are talking in one language, and if you have achieved that through the communication and explaining things, connecting with people, explaining to them what works, what doesn't work, making sense out of their actions that are coming up, you make that difference, and then you become a problem solver, and your ability to reach those people
Yeah.
creates or multiplies the
Yeah.
energy as far as growth is concerned. So that's most important. And one of the things, Arun, you also talked about, you when you move from one organization to another, your ability to unlearn and learn is very important. So in
Yeah.
my 28 years, I have been in steel, oil and gas, auto, building materials, and currently I'm on my own. So it is very important to take the gyan as far as what stuff that you are working on, but at the same time, you have to also be cognizant of the fact that what is this business all about, how does it impact your dealers, customers, vendors,
Mm.
that understanding. Once you are able to understand that, then you are on a rocket speed, god speed rather.
Beautifully said. I think it's very important for us to, I think, first understand the culture, the company that we might have joined recently. And I think that's the
And
reason
one more
before we
thing, Arun, and one more thing, when you go up the ladder, one
Yeah.
thing that comes up or stays in many of the people, that you need to forget about that ego and you keep it in your garage before you step into any office. Okay. Because today, whether it is your children or the people that you are working for, everybody has knowledge. They are not dependent on you for knowledge. If you think you are going to add value as far as knowledge is concerned, forget it. Okay, you are already outdated by this time. It is a world of AI, chat GPT, Bard,
Yeah.
which gives you all the information that you require. What
Yeah.
it doesn't tell you which road to take. Okay, whether this is
Mm-hmm.
right, or you're advising, or creating that platform, because most of the time they are aware of things which are there, but they are not sure whether this is the right way to approach. That's your approach as far as holding the hand is concerned, and giving them the confidence that this will work. Let's go ahead. So you're creating that platform for the future, which is very important.
Interesting. So I'm blessed with two daughters, and the younger one is just 6 years, and she says that, Papa, every word which you say is wrongly pronounced. And
Yeah,
she gives a demo, 6 years young kid. And I don't know,
yeah,
maybe some, while watching Peppa Pig and some of these programs, they might have learned. They speak absolutely impeccably. And I
yeah.
still wonder, we have started learning English from, I think, class three. And of course, in a Hindi medium, we used to make pronunciations and practice pronunciation. I think it's a different world. Artificial intelligence. I think my daughter, whenever there is a problem with laptop, but still, despite the fact that I have myself been on kind of some of this digital world, and I have created some videos and all that, still I'll call my elder daughter to sort it out and help me out. So,
Yes.
using piece which Sakat has informed, and it's important for us to have this humility that there is a lot which we have got to learn. And of course, we have got our experience, which is certainly a bigger strength, because which path to choose is something which is very important. He also spoke about something which is very powerful. And I've always been sharing with people that let's reflect back, because I think all the problems which we see in corporates where leader wants team members to behave in a certain way, and team members get a feeling that the leader is unfair, and a lot of problems and challenges happen. If there is one thing which is at the core of the solutions, if we want to have solutions to this problem, it is reflecting back, learning, and keeping that ego aside, which is a very challenging aspect. I've seen biggest of very big people in professional life, very successful people, very senior people with whom I had the privilege of working. They were very intelligent, but it's just because of EGU that things changed. And this is a very important point which Sakat has said, and this is something I think all of us have a bit of this. All of us have it. It's just that we need to, when people talk about emotional intelligence and all that, we need to learn the art of working with it. That's very important. Despite this, we should not lose track, and it's very important.
In fact, Arun, if you recall our initial years as far as Tata Steel is concerned, and there were
Yeah.
so many people who were there. At least it got taught us one thing, that what not to do. Obviously, it taught us what to do, but it also taught you what not to do. I think if you
Mhm.
internalize those things and learnings from, because we had seen some people would not go to their boss, which means that the opportunity for a discussion on something different or something completely new is lost.
Yeah.
So if you're, as a leader, if you're not creating those environment as far as opportunities for discussion, new things which are there, you are always looking at the world with your glasses, not the glasses which the world wants you to see through.
Thoughtfully said, Sakat. So what you said is very important. So I'm just saying this humbly. So I've written some 16 books so far. Six are for me, which are all there on Amazon, and almost 10 odd are while working with CFOs, CEOs, CXOs, and CHROs. Because I also have this passion and pursuit that let more stories come out in public domain. Because typically coming from corporates, we're very shy people. I've seen in Tata, people do not let anything come out. This happens with all the companies. Nothing against the company. You said something which is very important. Let me come to that. When I wrote my first book, बहुत मोटा सा thicker 80,000 words, and latest one पतला सा 40,000 words. As we grow in life, as we proceed in life, keep on learning, we also become more precise. Even the
Right.
size is shorter. Even in the next book, and then I also know that even one page can transform the lives of people. I keep on giving these demos. I'm saying this with humility. In the first book, there is one page in which there is a character called Mr. X. Now I owe a lot to him. And Mr. X is a character which is inspired by one real life, person that I met. Very intelligent person, very senior person, very intelligent person. But he did something which made me actually think that. Thank you so much, Mr. X. I said this to me. Thank you so much, Mr. X, because you have taught me the biggest of life lessons and career lessons. Because you have taught me what is not to be done in corporates.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I
Absolutely.
thank him. I hugged him the day we parted with. I hugged him. I said thank you so much. He couldn't understand some of these things because he was still in his EGO state. But I told him thank you so much, and we'll be in touch. You know why exactly I'm thanking you. It's very interesting what it is. There is a character in this book, by the way. And what you said, Sakat, is very important. And that's the reason I always tell people that let's be humble. Let's keep on learning from people because there is something called experience. I never knew the meaning of experience. People used to say कि ये बाल धूप में सफेद नहीं किए हैं. कुछ कुछ लोग बोलते थे ना धूप में नहीं पकाए and all that. I didn't know what exactly they're saying. There are certain lessons which only life can teach you. Because I
Absolutely.
also today morning I was talking to one very senior leader. He had called me and I was just sharing with him that, what happens is that in life, we all want to maintain a goody-goody relations. Friends will never tell
Yeah.
you something on your face. There are some friends who are like, थोड़े से बदमाश किस्म के लोग होते हैं. They are actually they could be the best of friends for you because they will tell you on your face. So what we do, we never want to break our comfort zone. Even while talking to person ABC, we shall keep on having tea, coffee, and this and that, and we shall still keep on saying something which is not going to make the person change, so, which is not actually adding value. And that's the reason Mr. X said they actually add value without intending to do so. That's interesting. But there is one truth of life. Life will not play a goody-goody role. Life will stare in your face. There will come a time if people do not get rid of, for example, EGO, life will stare you on your face and look at you and smile and say, it's not done. Change it.
Absolutely.
And life has got
Absolutely.
different ways of telling. I always tell people, actually, I do a program at 5 o'clock in the morning. Many people can't join, many people join me in the morning. Most of these people are there, rather, all the people are from corporates. And many people can't join. They are the same people who will go to the office and keep on talking against the HR policies, against their boss, against managing director, against the company, against the culture, and this and that. They also need to hug some of the challenges. Actually, the problems lie within us, and solutions also lie within. I always share one thing in that program through various practices and all that, that do not let life stare at you in your face and tell you to make a change now. Because by that time it becomes very
Absolutely.
painful. So can you be a little
Absolutely.
proactive? I know it's difficult, but that's the way things are. Very nice, Sakat. Thank you so much for bringing some of these very insightful points. Sakat, we all talk about leadership. I think the way you very nicely, subtly said, I think is something which I got very impressed with. People talk a lot about leadership. Whereas I think some of these secrets, like keeping ego aside itself, could be one of the biggest, I think, requirements for being a great leader. Would you like to talk a bit about you? How do you perceive
So,
this?
so what is leadership? So leadership is creating a platform for success,
Yeah,
right?
very absolutely.
When we were in our younger days, we used to follow somebody. Today,
Yeah,
somebody else is following you.
yeah,
But then it comes with a great amount of responsibility, isn't
yeah,
it? Because it is not only whatever decisions that you are taking, you are weighting it against your past experience, you are also discussing with people and also planning for the future, which also means there are so many careers also which you are responsible for. You're
yeah,
and in and being a CFO for various organizations, you are also looking at all the compliances, all the risks that are to be required, and then you are protecting it. It's as if you are fortifying your house with whatever lock and key, but at the same time keeping an opportunity open for growth and creating that vision for that growth. And you will, in this process, you will win someday, you will lose someday, because as you rightly said, life gives you opportunity, but it's also it kicks you very hard, where there is no mercy. So it is also your maturity and humility and also your resilience as far as growth is concerned. That is the amount of courage that you require as far as leadership is concerned. And mind you, we are all in glass houses. ऐसा
mm.
कुछ नहीं है कि आप कुछ कर रहे हो तो कोई देख नहीं रहा है. So there are so many pairs of eyes which are looking at you, and your
Yes,
conduct becomes so important. You cannot fake
absolutely.
anything. You cannot at this point of time, whether it is written, oral, or even your behavioral manner, your face reading, everything
Yeah,
is done.
yes, sir. Yeah,
So you talked about leadership. This is a combination of everything, where you look at it and how you navigate that. It is creating that team, And it
Yeah.
is like the in the musician thing, there is a conductor who is there,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
is, it doesn't mean that the person who is playing doesn't know music, but it is the synchronization of all of that, which I would summarize for
Yeah.
better understanding. That's how you conduct that. And in
That's
processes,
mistakes.
there will be some people who are out of sync or something, and those are the people that you need to work with. Majority of the things are in place. So create that structure which gives you continuous and sustained results, and create also a conductor in the process who will do the work for you at a subsequent date. That's also about leadership. It's not only about you, it is about the next process also, because you will take up something different, and it is important for you to create that. It should not, the organization should not work under vacuum. So the responsibility of the leadership is also to take care of people and place people in that position who perhaps are better than you.
Amazing said. This example of conductor is very important because see, nobody audience, of course, now you are very much a part of this conversation. And I'm pretty sure nobody has seen a moment where the conductor stops doing what he's doing and then he or she is getting into somebody's place and start playing the instrument himself or herself. Whereas many leaders actually do that, right? नहीं, तुमसे नहीं होगा, नहीं, let me do it.
Which is his insecurity also.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
see, people will fail. In your appointment letter, wherever you have worked, it never said that you cannot fail in this organization. Was it written anywhere? So if it was
yeah,
not written, and having worked in organization where we both were there, it was encouraged that if you fail, there is nothing like it, but no, don't make the same mistakes again. But then you create
absolutely.
that platform also, which is very important for people to be fearless. Once you be
Beautiful.
there, and a fearless person is far better than a subdued one, okay, who is just saying yes, sir.
Absolutely. You have spoken of something which on which I used to make many videos earlier, but I think this is the most important aspect. Unless people show courage, you want people will never know what the true meaning and which are the beautiful colors of life. People will not know the meaning of life and work. Actually, it's one I always tell people that if you just start make a beginning with courage, take one step of courage that will start showing you how the world is actually designed. The same 10 people who used to be friendly with you, who are the two people who are actually true friends of yours, who are the 8 people who are just feeling or who are just pretending to be friends. I think that's the way the world you start seeing different colors of world. Amazingly said. So this I'll just show you. So this is the chapter, and the first
Uh-huh.
chapter is hunger. If you see
Huh.
chapter 2, hunger, do
Yeah,
you have
yeah,
it? And
yeah.
then and after this, there is something related to mindset. What Sakat said is very important. Failure slash challenges slash something which does not make us happy slash breakup in relationships slash things which do not make us happy are the things which will create hunger, provided we have got the mindset of a winner. There are people who actually have got this loser's mindset. Whatever happens which does not make them happy, something which they will keep on abhorring, keep on ignoring, keep on whining against, keep on cribbing against, keep on criticizing people and system and HR and policies and this and that. No, the solutions lie within us. That's called mindset. And what you said is very important. Failure slash challenges are the ones actually which make a
And
person great.
Arun, just to add to that, if you look at sports people, okay,
Yeah,
there are n number of examples which are there who have failed, continuously failed.
yeah,
But
yeah,
then there was a belief in them, and that belief system was, I will win at certain point of time. Okay, and then there is no looking back. So when you talk about courage, talk about mental strength. It is important that you keep analyzing where you are going wrong, correct them, and eventually you will become a leader. At this point of time, when I'm talking to you, I am remembered of a Ukrainian or a Russian pole vault lady who
yeah,
was there, and
yeah,
she used to go up to the finals, and she used to lose, and
yeah,
year after year she was not being, it was somewhere, it was not clicking. Did she not know the game of pole vault? Definitely she
yeah,
knew
Shani,
about it,
yeah,
but then somewhere, her inner mental things, she was panicking, or maybe there was some strength which was lacking when it mattered actually.
yeah, absolutely,
And to
absolutely.
overcome that, come over that, okay, you are a
Yeah,
winner in this process. Organizations are also in the same way. You will have to see where your goal is and keep chasing that. There will be difficulties, but then eventually you will be. Your mental strength will play a
really.
great amount of role.
Brilliant, brilliant. Actually, what you said is absolutely the truth. So you have got to keep on moving on, keep on taking actions, keep on working, because it's only through doing and taking actions and being consistent that we actually start seeing which is the thing which is working, which is the thing which we need to get rid of, and then actually you come to a path which is the path towards kind of greater transformation and success, and that is
Absolutely.
only going to happen through consistent work,
Absolutely.
and whatever you call it, failure, challenges, these are bound to happen irrespective of what kind of preparation you do. See, I think you give a brilliant example of a sports person. To look at sports, people like Virat Kohli, absolute failure between 2012 and 2013, 2014. And it's just that he kept on persisting, and that's the reason today he's totally different. Khan Pan ka ho habit ho, the way he looks, the way he runs, the way he celebrates with more energy than the bowler himself. It's amazing energy level. And how did it come? All through hunger, which he got through failure. I think that's something which is very important. Amazing. Let's talk a bit about your journey as a chief financial officer. I saw some of the posts and I could see some very interesting things in your posts, because we are here is Saka that we are talking to, who is talking about not only how to make profit but also about environment, social governance. We are also listening to somebody who has spoken about automation in finance, in the field of finance. Would you like to talk a bit about some of these things, because I saw some posts there.
So,
How?
Arun, today, when we started and the way things are working now, nobody is willing to wait for 15, 20 days to get to an answer. And again, today is AI. Okay, please mind that. So everything happens as of yesterday. So today, people are also interested to work on action rather than preparing for action, which is always debatable. ये number तुम्हारा गलत है. Okay, the discussion used to happen from that perspective that ये number तुम्हारा गलत है. And I saw when I adopted these intelligent tools, automation and all in escorts also, one of the biggest thing that you saw was that the discussion around number sahi hai ki nahi, that was not part of it. The action became very important because both of us were reading the number from the same screen. So
Hmm.
then you cut the noise out of it and you are focusing only on the action that has to be taken and not on whether
Yeah.
this process was right, this process. So no, in my journey, Arun, automation has played a big role, not only from a productivity perspective, but also from a decision making perspective. And this is evolving by the day. So you cannot be what we were 25, 26, 27 years ago. Today, the world is completely different of how tools and tackles have completely taken over. Your agility as far as learning and also your hunger as far as what is coming up in the horizon becomes extremely important as far your running your business is concerned. So
Hmm.
empower your people, create that culture within your organization where we talk automation, where we talk about productivity, where you are able to relate things which will add value to your organization. Make more people tech savvy, which will help. Today, if I take an example, GST return, there are you have to take a credit only on the invoice. And now there are lakhs and lakhs of invoices which are there. How do you do ensure that the correctness is there? Automation helps you in that process. If there were 15 people who are working for me in a particular organization, there are not more than two people who are working at this point of time and giving me better productivity. Whether it is your accounts payable, whether it is your record to report, whether it is your making of accounts, whether it is your BI reports, whether it is your budgeting process, each and every process is today under the automation umbrella. And it is not about adoption, it is about improvement from there. So if you have that culture built in your organization, I think you are doing absolutely fantastic, and you are discussing more on solutions rather than creating those. So अभी वो
Hmm.
मुनीम वाला system खत्म हो गया है. It is more how agile you are and how pushy you are as far as your whether business heads are concerned or CEOs are concerned to take the decision, because everybody is working on that. If you are late by even a day or a month or any, you are completely lost. So the market opportunity is very important, and you have to cater your product. And we are also selling a product within the organization. It's very important that you create that agile organization which is working on actions rather than preparing data.
Beautiful. Amazing.
And
I think this is a
you talked about ESG also in that.
Yeah,
Today
yeah, I'm
you
going to come
don't
to that. Yeah, yeah,
today you don't have an option. So environment, social governance, companies are valued only if you are practicing this. Earlier it was an option. Today each and every investor is asking about what are you doing about the, I have been CFO for manufacturing organizations. So what are you doing about the environment? How are you taking care of the underprivileged people who are there? How are you taking care of them? What is your governance right, huh? Are you complying with all the statutes that are there, whether it is air, water, people related issues? How are you giving, from a discharge perspective, are you polluting the, so these questions are now staring at you. As far as you have a
mm,
CO2 there, you have a male female equation, you have that icons as far as your waste segregations are concerned. So the
yeah,
sensitivity of people, whether it is investors or whether it is the employees are concerned, are extremely important, and people are asking you these things, and people will also join those organizations which values them, because when they put their brand into those organizations, they have that belief system as far as they are working for somebody, or they want to extend what they believe as far as in those organizations are concerned. So this is no more an option, this is a necessity. So whether it is automation, whether it is ESG, whether it is looking into how to prosper as far as creating a culture is concerned, is extremely important in these organizations or whatever organizations are coming up. If you look at it, if you have no governance, there are latest two cases which are there. I don't want to name them. There were
yeah,
billions of dollars of market value
yeah.
gone.
Very important. And I think this also makes me think of many companies under Make in Bharat campaign. There are thousands and lakhs of companies in India which are growing which want to grow at a fast pace. It's important that some of these companies, of course, to the extent it's possible, can get in touch with people like Saikat. Because now that you are in the realm of virtual CFO, which, if you ask me, it's a very important need of today. Because there are, see, companies like Tatas and Larsen and Toubro and some of these companies have got it, right? They have got enough number of professionals. But what about these lakhs of companies
Right.
which are getting inspired from one talk of Prime Minister in Pragati Maidan, and they want to grow their company? They need to take care of ESG, automation, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are many things which, of course, which I have seen on your post, which is very important. Great,
In fact,
Saket.
Arun, there are over. I am in a part of a group who evaluates startups, and from that perspective, there are almost 500 to 1,000, which comes to our group as far as evaluation is concerned for funding related activities. These are the areas where people need that kind of expertise as far as what to do, what not to. They're young minds. They have great ideas as far as business is concerned. But then ideas also need to be complemented by what to do and what not to do, or for that matter, how to go about to do that. Because if you are driving, not looking at the windscreen and not knowing about the road ahead, there are chances the speed at which you are going, you will have an impact. Okay. And
Yeah,
the
yeah. And also
objective
there might
of,
be people who will overtake you without you coming to know of it. Overtake you, yeah.
so it is
Hmm.
not important how fast you go. It is important, but it's also important how prepared you are to venture out, or you'll be cautious
Hmm.
as far as what is going to come in your path. And the person
Hmm.
who is able to steer through these unknowns will be the person who will hit the finish tape at a better rate or better accomplishment than a person just going fast.
No, this is
So
very
that's why.
important, Sai, very important point which you brought. Because if you look at today's world, it's all about learning from others' experience, be it Zomato, be it Uber. Just look at all the feedbacks, no? Glass doors. So I think it's important that people keep on looking back and learning from others' feedback. And I think it's important for us to learn from our kind of experiences as well, which is very important. And that probably may take time. And one of the best ways, fastest ways for you to get the best direction is to talk to people like Sakat who have seen this, right? Amazing. Sakat, you also spoke about, rather we started a conversation by saying that, I said that it's a very interesting conversation because one HR person is going to talk to a CFO. So how does a CFO look at HR heads? That is very important. Because CFO knows in numbers and business, and there will come one HR person, sir, I want to take 2 crore of budget and I want to conduct a lot of programs. So of course, CFO will ask for the outcomes, because which is very important. This is one thing which is very close to my heart. How to first understand the vision and goals of the company, how to talk to the leadership team, how to talk to people, peers, and employees, and then you design something which is common sensical and which is in the stages, so that you can keep on checking at the end of each stage whether you are getting the outcomes, and then you keep on making course correction. So let me take a pause here. How do you look at HR, and which are the
So,
changes which HR has to bring
so
to be
I'll
loved by CFO?
I'll talk about it first. There was, we all have read this. So CEO was telling that we have to train our people, and the CFO said there will be so much of expenses if we train these people, and if they go, then what we will do? Then the CEO says, if we don't train them, what will happen? Okay,
Yeah.
so that's an eye opener. Okay, if you don't take care of your people, they will not obviously add value to it. But if they come up and if they still leave your organization post the training, they are adding value to other organizations also. You are creating a career
Absolutely.
for them. And in today's world, and you use Glassdoor, everybody is seeing which is an organization which creates value for people.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah, yeah.
coming to the question that you asked, how do you see that HR? See, organizations are all about people. You and I are people as far as the organization, because we cannot come into an organization without that door which is opened by HR, which means it is machinery comes later, people come first, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And how you create or mold those people as far as motivation is concerned, learning is concerned, creating a culture as far as happy faces are concerned, it is very important that you build that culture for that. So
Yeah.
when a CEO and CFO are talking together, the discussion is not on what money you are spending or where you are looking at what value addition is happening in this process.
Yeah.
How is it going to add value to it? We are all from the XLRI MBA being sponsored by Tata Steel. How we created value post that. I remember one of my bosses said, "बहुत पढ़ के आए हो, अब काम करके दिखाओ."
I
And
also have the same thing.
and he threw me into two loss making units and go ahead and transform those organizations. So those are
Wow. We can have a
those
second series of second conversation
so
on those
yeah.
moments.
So those are the opportunities that you create for it. If we had
Yes.
not gone for that, and it didn't open our minds as far as how to deal with actions, we would not be prepared for the challenges which were coming in front of us. So I'm very thankful that we got that opportunity and it opened our mind as far as dealing with the future. So coming to the question that you asked, HR, it is an extremely important aspect because it is all about people. If you have bad quality people or untrained people, not motivated people, I don't know what's the right word for it. Anyways, you are going to head a dead end. The energy is not there. The mental strength is not there to perform as far as these
Yeah.
stringent targets are concerned. So the discussion with the HR is always about value addition. How do we, if we are at this level, how do we take our people to this level? If and nothing comes cheap or nothing comes
Mm.
for free, so you have to invest in any relationship or for that matter your people, and that's
Mm.
how you will be. And I have enjoyed those interactions with people, because that I believe people are my greatest strength. And I talked about the conductor, and you are also getting, you should be replaced as a conductor in the future. Where will they come? They will not come from Mars or Jupiter, they will come from your team itself. And if
Yeah,
it will
yeah, yeah.
also be a shame if you don't have people replacing you within your team. It is
Within.
always easy, you find, no, they have lateral hires, and it doesn't make any sense, because the culture that you are trying to build within the organization somewhere is not there, because somebody else is coming in that position, and he will perhaps have a different aspect as far as working is concerned. So
Mm.
the
Beautiful.
biggest success of between an HR person and a finance person is how you are building the organization as far as people is concerned. Is it a
Awesome,
happy
awesome.
organization?
Also, I'm pretty sure that all the CHROs who might have worked with you in various organizations must have been lucky because they had a CFO who also really understood the meaning of people in HR. And of course, there are things which we all have got to do differently and better.
Yeah.
But I think it's amazing to hear from you. I'm pretty sure, audience, that I think by now you might have got some idea that we are listening to somebody who is a CFO plus he also has got this idea about HR and the significance of HR. I mean, people practices. Having said that, Sakat, I also have seen that many companies CFOs are always there in board meetings, but not all CHROs are there. And of course, I also tell people from HR that, it's something which you have got to do something about because, you should show that value so that CEO and board members would feel like, bringing you inside the board meeting and ask you, "Wait, tell me what is next? What is new?" I think that's where I think many HR people lose this opportunity. Would you like to make some comment here?
So, Arun, obviously, in the board, you have the CEO and CFO all by themselves facing the bullets as far as the board
And the
meetings
company
are
secretary,
concerned.
yeah.
And it is all agenda driven as far as board meetings are concerned, because the time is a very limiting factor as far as those meetings are concerned. You have to complete something since within a certain period of time. But there have been opportunities, whether it's an ESOP or whether it is something about employee engagement or something about leadership development, all those things. There are small snippets which do come that this is what we are doing, or the board asks for certain things. What are you doing about this? Those are the sessions there. By invitation, they can come, because obviously board meetings are a bit of a structure which they
Yeah,
follow,
I know.
and it
Which is right.
only and people only come as far as these are non-financial at this point of time, because board meetings are mostly about financial numbers. So when these things are discussed, whether it is in the audit committee or whether it is in the
Yeah,
remuneration committee, those are the places where people come in as far as the
yeah.
development is concerned. And board is also very interested to know what are the things that you're doing as far as empowering your people is concerned.
Diversity, empowerment, gender
Absolutely.
norms,
And if you relate that with ESG also, there is a diversity which is part of the social
yeah.
factor also, which is there. So there will be no specific thing, but this will come up as and when it is required, and people will be there.
No, this is amazingly said. I recall a while ago because you also spoke about Tatas because I think you're absolutely right in saying that Tatas have built so many leaders, they have developed so many leaders, they have invested a lot. I
Absolutely.
recall how many programs we used to go through while being in Tata Steel in those times.
Absolutely.
And then we all are spread across the country. There are many people who are outside the country in different parts of the world, and they are all adding value somewhere. This connection is working. I always have seen people talking about their deep-rooted connection with companies like Tata's, which is very important. When I got got the first few copies of my latest book, I is picture is still there, the little
Ah,
first. So awesome! This statue of J.N. Tata, Sir J.N. Tata is
yeah,
there with me. So I'm pretty sure
yeah.
we all have got this, I think, idea that once
It's a
a company
very
does
emotional
something to
connect.
build, it's emotional connect because of we are talking about companies which have invested so much on training people, so much. For one full year, the company had let us be in Accelerate campus, and they didn't expect anything, which is awesome. So great. Sakat, would you like to talk about some messages? Of course, we spoke about the world of AI and some of this digital transformation. Would you like to talk a bit about the current generation and some of the messages, some of these things which they can at least consider on? Of course, it's not a generation which is going to listen to us if you tell them what is to be done, what is not to be done. But any message for them, because it's also a world where people are like, this is a lot of things are happening. A lot of friends.
I mean, Arun, you have asked the most difficult question. No, so for us, I think the message is on the reverse. I guess the people or the people who are the younger people, they know very well. I have a daughter, 20-year-old, who's doing her applied maths and computer science. I never understood what is applied maths and computer science is concerned. She chose a career for herself, that this is what is going to be the career in 2035, 40, 45. So you please don't. I'm a chartered accountant. She never bothered that I will become a chartered accountant. So I couldn't influence my child as far as career is concerned. But the responsibility that we have in this is, and if you look at it from a messaging perspective, it is how objectively you are holding a hand and guiding them, perhaps of not for everything, but smaller things. It is the finesse that will matter as far as their journey is concerned. They know already, but they need that last thing as far as how to execute that. Maybe that I was talking about that pole vaulter, that mental strength as far as over crossing that high bar, which is about 6 meters or 8 meters or so, because she knew everything about pole vault, but that mental strength was required perhaps for
Yeah,
us to top
absolutely.
it over. I
Absolutely.
think
And
in the
probably,
today's generation, we as leaders or who have this experience as far as working in organizations is concerned, is to help them cross that bar
very important.
and give them that strength as far as achieving their
Brilliant.
target is concerned. And the happiness is not, perhaps that person is happy, but you are more happy that you had created an environment which help them to overcome the challenges that are there. I think that's what it is. They have knowledge, they have everything.
Mhm. Brilliantly said, Sakat. So my elder daughter decided to go for IB. I still do not know. I'm sorry, I'm confessing in front of this. My wife is going to watch it. What exactly IB board is fully. I have been trying to learn. She's in second year of IB International Board. She decided. The only thing what you said is very important, that this is also a generation where the direction has to be checked. And that's where I think we come in. We can keep on checking so that the direction is right. And also, there's a generation which might be fragile a bit because of a
Right.
lot of things happening here. So I think I always tell people that some of the age-old secrets of happiness, strength of character, are still valid. They're always going to remain valid, like discipline, waking up, spending some time in the morning, for example, putting your focus on spending some time for health, reading, keeping all the things aside and just reading and making sense of this vocabulary and learning it. So some of these
Right.
things are still important. And that's where I think we come in. And I think this has got to be a nice conversation between both the generations so that both of them
Correct.
listen to each other. We share our side and let
Right.
them share their side. I think it's interesting to which you have said. Thank you so much,
Arun,
Saket.
and don't ever venture into giving gyan to them. They already have gyan. Anyone that is that to create that platform for them to succeed. Okay, and at least tell them or advise them. Perhaps not directing them, but say perhaps you may like to look at this way,
Yeah.
which is not directional, but at the same time opens up a window. Acha, let's explore this,
Yeah, this is important, and actually
because if you
many
direct them, they will not listen.
they will not do, and this is also true for corporates also. And I think leaders who are watching this conversation also need to keep in mind. I think I'm saying this with humility. Likewise, we spoke about how to talk to our kids. There is a secret, there is a common thread here, which we also need to follow while talking to our employees. Rather than saying that you go and do this and go and do that, why don't you consider doing this? And let's give them options and let's inspire them to try something. Because, for example, after you came back from Accelera, your boss said that, your leader said that, your manager said that, why don't you go and transform these two, companies which are two verticals which are having some challenges? I think that's the best way, because what I've learned in life and career over the last few years, very in a very deep manner, is that it's all through doing, experiencing,
Yeah.
realizing that we actually gain the essence of some of the things which any person who has been wise has said, including Kabir Das, including Rahim, including any person, Gita, Bhagavad Gita. They're all talking about something which we have got to experience, and we have to actually take some actions to actually experience. Amazing, Sakat. It's 1 hour we didn't even know, and it's amazing to talk to you. And looks like we can have second and third series of conversations, second and third
Sure.
conversation of the series. Certainly, we'll catch up once again. But
Sure.
I know it's Sunday, and I'm so happy that you came as a guest and you also spared not only 1 hour, because I know that people have to get ready and it takes more than almost close to half a day of Sunday. So thank you so much, Sakat. And audience, I'm pretty sure that you can
Thank you.
certainly get in touch with Sakat. I think I'll certainly, while editing, put your LinkedIn profile or some
Sure.
connections where people can get in touch with
Sure.
you. Because I have been actually working with a few companies as L&D,
Sure.
OD, transformation, So I work for 6 days for a company kind of. I know the kind of value which you can add, because you can add value to multiple companies. And again, the roots are again
Certainly.
somewhere embedded back in Tatas. The connection also is
Right.
there.
Right.
Saket, before we close, would you like to say anything which you would like to share for the sake of audience, or else we'll close it? Of course, there are a lot of things, but I think I will have the second round. We'll talk about some of the mundane
Sure.
questions.
Sure.
Anything which you would
Sure.
like to add?
No, so my only message that is stay humble, stay hungry, as far as your journey is concerned. Nothing is permanent. Enjoy the space which is called life. Enjoy your day. Today there is a lot of stress of many things to achieve. Don't bother about it. Take one day at a time. I think life has to be lived. And I was seeing one graph somewhere. There is a bigger circle which is life, and your work is a smaller circle. So be mindful of what you are doing. And mental health is more important than anything else. In your journey, there is no guarantee that you will succeed every time, but it is also your resilience that from what you learn out of your failures, and be positive as far as your days are concerned. I think that's the only message that I have. And don't be too happy when you are happy, don't be too sad when you are sad. So that's what the message is.
Absolutely. But Tagda, at the top of my first book, Advanced is the mother of transformation. There
Yeah,
might be some challenges which actually are the seeds for you to transform. It's just that you have got to think through it in the right way. So you said something very interesting. Stay hungry, you said, and I'll just add something. Stay foolish a bit, because what I've seen is that when I ask people to come and join me at 5 o'clock, the guys who think too much, they will never join, and some people just want to experiment. भाई ये बंदा 3 4 5 साल से इस फील्ड में चलो देखते हैं क्या होता है. They are the
right,
people who get completely transformed. Do not be too wise, inverted comma. At times, just explore. Go for a
right.
trekking. Talk to some friend. Spend some time. Make a call to somebody after 20 years. Do not worry whether the person is going to call you back or not. You make a beginning, because that's the best way to explore, best way to explore life. And happy
Absolutely.
exploring life and career, Sakat, because this is the best phase of your life and career. I can tell you, while with humility, it's an amazing journey which you are
Absolutely.
having. And Sakat, one last signature question which I have got for all the people. I think by now, since you might have seen maybe some of my videos, you might have guessed. If we write a book on your life and journey, what could be the title of that book? Journey so far, yeah.
So I think I would put somewhere resilience as far as one of the words is concerned. And the
Yes.
story will be around that, because many a times life has knocked you down. There was every opportunity that you could have said, "Mere se nahi hota hai," but then you rise, and then you rise to take up bigger challenges. So I would coin a
Absolutely.
word which is around that. Okay, and
Um,
I think that's how life has to be lived. And in today's world, when everything is instant, it is also important that you keep that humility as far as rising up is concerned, because life will knock you down. Make no mistake.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Resilience is the word, gentlemen, because I have been there in the one-to-one coaching also. I keep on talking to people, and I can share just one thing, that what he said is something which is the final truth. Let me not add anything. Let me be speechless now. Thank you so much, Sakat, for your time. Have a
Thank you.
wonderful Sunday, and thank you so much, audience, for watching. You do keep on sharing some of these videos, some of these clips, which I'm going to share with people. You never know which person is going to see his or her life getting completely transformed. And once again, the entire credit goes to audience and Sakat. Thank you so much, Sakat.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.